Does everybody know what time it is?
Home and podcast time.
That's right. Binford Tools is proud to present a home improvement podcast. My name is Adam Yola, my co-host Jordan. Hey, Jordan.
Adam.
How you doing?
I got to watch your hometown boy Giannis last night on TV.
Hey, he scored 50.
Oh my goodness. He looks like a man amongst
Would
men,
you say he's a freak?
A Greek freak of sorts. No, but it was good. It was good to watch him and a good game between the Jazz and the Bucks. And you're lucky to have him in your town right now because I have to watch the Magic locally.
Hey, they're the 8th seed right now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they did lose to the Pistons last night too.
Yeah, it's no fun. It's good to be in Milwaukee and not in. I mean, being in Florida has its benefits. I'm certain,
especially around this time of year.
Yeah, but
it's not for basketball.
No. Yeah, Bucks are good this year. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be so close to them. And this is the low post. My name is Zach Lowe. We're getting way off track here.
Sorry, I just wanted to bring that up because I got to watch them last night. But we are here to talk about something far more important and something that will have already happened by the time.
Yeah, this is our thanks. You will have already had Thanksgiving, and you'll think, I didn't quite have enough Thanksgiving time with family, food, and so on. So the following Wednesday, we're going to be talking more Thanksgiving, which is what we're doing today.
Hopefully, you haven't hopped into the Christmas spirit quite yet. Maybe
it's
right
hard.
after this episode.
I don't know why we don't. I've been doing this a long time, but I never am able to think ahead enough to put things in place. I don't know. It's hard.
Yeah, well, when we start planning, we're really just looking at, what do we have to do for Christmas? So
right,
yeah. Thanksgiving gets overlooked, which is often what happens around this time of year.
Yeah, but you know what? We're going to pay it its due diligence, just a little past due, if you know what I'm saying.
Past due diligence.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right, what are we doing, Jordan? Why don't you introduce it?
Well, you came to me again yesterday. You're full of ideas. The idea man.
Well,
that's what I call you.
Yeah.
And you texted me and said, I got some opening banter for tomorrow. Let's go ahead and make the Taylors and another character into Thanksgiving dishes. And that's what we're going to do. So it's going to be a little bit of cannibalism. It's going to be delicious. No, we're gonna make some comparisons.
Oh, boy,
right?
You have such a wry sense of humor these days.
You just never know where he's going to come from.
No, you've gotten strange, that's for sure.
In my old age, hey, by the time our audience hears this, I will have turned 1 year older.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't even think about that. What's the date today? Your birthday's, 2 days away.
Oh, man.
How do you feel about turning the big 30, 30, 30, the big 30?
My hair gets grayer. Every day.
Are you losing it? Yeah, right?
Ouch. I've got some good widow's peaks going on.
You're receding a little bit, my man? No.
Just a tidbit. No, I mean, it's 30. What are you going to do? You can't... Time stops for no man.
Time heals all wounds. Time wounds all heals.
Is that a phrase?
Hey, John Lennon said it. He was in the Beatles. Jordan... I know you prefer the other Lennon. Ouch.
What?
So you're turning 30. This will come out afterwards. I should have prepared something. Happy birthday.
No, instead of what you prepared is you told me you were going to really put me on blast later this episode.
Later.
Yeah, what a nice co-host.
You crotchety 30-year-old man. Yeah, you're getting a little. Well, I'll give you a little hint. You're getting a little frugal, I'd say.
Frugal.
Yeah, we'll talk later about your frugality.
I know what you.
Hey,
I know what you're gonna say now.
Save it for later, pal. You're 30 years old. You've achieved everything a man. You've already achieved everything you ever wanted. You have a wife. You have a child. You own a house. You live sort of close to Disney. That was always a goal. You love your job and you're incredibly fulfilled. So you've sort of done it.
Are you playing like Two Truths and a Lie, or what are you doing?
Which ones are true? Which one's not true. I only think my daughter's okay. No.
No, it's been a good 30 years, and how many ever more I get, I'll be thankful for them. How about
I'm hoping 50 would be nice, wouldn't it? To make it to 50, not another 50 years. But you need to start exercising, is what I would say. I know you don't do that. You don't do that anymore.
Yeah, they changed the open gym times from starting at noon to starting at 2, and that's really been rough for me.
That's too late. Yeah,
that's when Andrea starts tutoring in the afternoon, so that doesn't work out so well.
Andrea's tutoring has become a real problem for.
Do you think you can call the St. Cloud Civic Center and have them make some changes?
Civic Center. Wow. Yeah, I could. Yeah, for your birthday, I will do that.
Why do you say it like that?
You're
surprised, aren't you?
Why isn't it a rec center? This is bad. Let's not talk about this. This is not interesting for anyone. We'll talk about the Civic Center.
Thanksgiving.
Happy birthday, Jordan.
Thanks.
30. Wow. I'll be turning 30 in March, so you'll have to let me know how it is so I can be ready.
I asked our mutual friend, maybe not mutual to you anymore, I don't know, Sam, how it was to turn 30?
No, not mutual anymore, sorry.
He had not much to share, so I don't know what to expect,
like
really.
Him. Yeah, I know some people that have turned 30. And
are you bragging?
Yeah, hey, I have some friends that are older than me, marginally, by 3 months, friends and family, and they all said, yeah, it's fine. I don't care, I guess,
Age is just a number. It's how you feel on the inside.
Hey, age is just a number. Death is but a window. I'll be back. That's what Dan Aykroyd said in Ghostbusters. Thanksgiving, we are...
What?
Life is a door, death is but a window. I'll be back. He says it in Ghostbusters. I just changed it.
The winding way we took to get to the Thanksgiving conversation was...
Thanksgiving. Hey, it's a big one for people.
My birthday is on Thanksgiving.
Has that ever happened before?
It happens every few years. I don't particularly like it.
No, why would you? It's like the kid that has the birthday on December 23rd, Or 24th or 25th, I guess, would be...
Only December 23rd, that's it. Yeah, it's not grand. But yeah, why is it a big one?
It's a big Thanksgiving, Jordan. It really isn't. It's always exciting. I'm going up to Michigan. You are not, I'm guessing. But that doesn't mean we can't bring a little bit of Michigan to you on the podcast today. So as you mentioned a long time ago at this point, we are not cannibalizing or eating the Taylors, but we are drawing parallels between the Taylor family, specifically the core 5, I don't know if that's a thing, and one supplementary character, which we probably, I don't know if we chose the same one or not. It'll be interesting to see. We're drawing parallels between the cast members and Thanksgiving dishes. We did, like I said.
I got hungry just doing this.
Yeah, I did it 5 minutes ago, so I didn't have a lot of time to think about anything but getting it done, because it was one of those things where I was like, oh man, I wish I wouldn't have come up with this idea because I don't actually want to put in the time, but I did, and I think I tried to put my best foot forward. So all right, let's start with Tim, or who do you want to start with? You know what, you choose. This is your birthday. I'm going to sort of defer to you, and whatever you say goes, and I'm going to be nicer this episode than normal. So,
that doesn't sound true at all.
What do you want to do, birthday boy?
Birthday boy, let's start with the turkey, huh?
Okay. Oh,
okay. Turkey?
Oh, so I think we did this differently.
You doing side dishes?
No, I didn't think about it in terms of the food. I thought about it in terms of the character. So I started with, I would say, like, Tim is blank. I didn't like...
Okay, I did that too. I'm just starting.
Okay.
I'm starting with who's going to be the turkey.
Okay, interesting. Go ahead.
All right. I think Tim's the turkey.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Couple of reasons. My father always called people turkeys when they were kind of goofy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that fits. Also, he's just kind of like the main dish. He's what the show is all about. He's the centerpiece of the show. And that's what the turkey kind of is at Thanksgiving. Although some people really don't like turkey, but it's still like, if you're having a picture of Thanksgiving dishes, the turkey is the centerpiece, right?
I find people that don't like turkey annoying. Because they are just always just sort of like in your face about it. It's like the one person that doesn't like pizza and then just like tells you all the time, like, I actually don't like pizza. Like, that's not interesting. That's not like a cool trait. Like, I don't like a lot of things you don't hear me going around talking about. I don't know. I just find the turkey haters are annoying.
Do you think that people?
You can not like whatever you want. Just you don't need to tell me about it.
Okay, I was just wondering if you think there's a contingent of people who think that turkey hating is cool, and so that's why they do it, not because they actually hate turkey.
I think sometimes people are apt to think about the historical context of Thanksgiving, which is fine and legitimate and complicated, definitely complicated. And then they sort of think about it in terms of the current holiday, and they use the historical precedents of Pilgrims and Native Americans, and they just decide that because of what has happened, that they are out on turkey. I think that's a.
They say it specifically about turkey, not about the holiday.
I think that turkey is a microcosm for Thanksgiving, and they take it out on the turkey.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like a very interesting.
This is a theory that I have just now come up with.
It's an interesting theory.
Is it better or worse than Ferris Bueller? Matthew Broderick.
I think I had a dream with Ferris Bueller in it the other night.
Yeah, of course you did, and that dream would have been better if it would have.
No, but in that dream, he was older and saying something, and I texted you right after and said, like, this would have been better if he would have stopped.
In the dream? Because you didn't text me that in real life.
No, it was a dream.
You dream? You dream about texting me? Gosh, your life is sad.
Or the most wonderful thing I can imagine. All right.
Let me go.
That's all. Yeah, that's all. A lot of interesting things. I'd love to hear what you got for Tim.
Yeah, hey, Tim's the turkey. You know, it's the obvious choice, Jordan. And I think we have. I almost wrote down some of the same things you said verbatim. Tim is the star of the show, and the turkey is the star of the meal. You know, that's it.
Yeah,
it's
great.
The centerpiece.
That's really all you need to say, but I'd like you to say
I
more.
will keep going. Much like turkey, Tim can be exhausting, and he can make you tired with his antics.
Tryptophan, Tim.
But he's generally I enjoy turkey, but also turkey is exhausting. I enjoy Tim on this show, but also sometimes he is exhausting. I too. Tim's a goof, and turkey is the slang term can be synonymous with being sort of silly, goofy, and much like turkey.
Speaking of goofy, sorry.
What? Go ahead.
Goofy. It makes me think of a Goofy movie every time you say it.
Patreon coming up. And much like turkey, turkey's kind of meaty. And Tim, I saw him at the Y. I've seen him at the Y a lot lately. He's a bit of a beefcake these days. So.
Yeah, but my mom's not happy about that. All right.
I don't understand. I'm not quite.
Nor do I.
You're going to need to talk about that with. I just don't understand what she's unhappy with. Tank tops specifically. I don't know. But turkey with Tim, that was the obvious choice. We'll see if we have any other similarities. But yeah, that was kind of a no-brainer. This is going to be a long episode, which is okay with me.
All right. I'll move on to the second one then. Jill?
Yeah.
You know what she is?
What's that?
She's gravy. All gravy.
Okay.
You know why?
Yeah.
She pairs really well with a lot of people in the show. She just makes everything better.
Okay.
So you put the gravy on the turkey, it's better. Tastes good. It's moist. That's a win. You put some gravy on the stuffing, that's a win. You put some gravy on the mashed potatoes, that's a win. So I see Jill as that kind of she pairs really well with everyone. She partners with everyone. She makes the show better. Also, I think if you have Jill on her own, it doesn't quite work. And I think if you're just having gravy on its own.
See, I gotta disagree with you there. One of my favorite Thanksgiving dishes is just the inaugural bowl of gravy I start out with before each meal. Like a cheese soup.
Oh, that's so gross. I think my point is made there. So,
all right, so
what do you think?
For me, Jill, she's stuffing and or dressing. Here's why. This is kind of a stretch in a lot of ways, but Jill she's a staple of the show. She's important.
Yeah,
like Thanksgiving is a staple of the meal. She often tells Tim to stuff it. And stuffing is stuffed in the turkey, so that's something.
Easily drawn conclusion there.
That's something. That's sort of linear, yeah. Stuffing thrives due to its relationship with the turkey. Good stuffing
very well put.
Is often the case of a good turkey. Tim is the turkey, so stuffing turkey is somehow there's a parallel between their relationship. If I were to spend more time, she's warm. She's warm and loving, like a good stuffing. Stuffing is warm. Comes out warm and kind of mushy.
This is my favorite one.
And she makes the turkey what it Stuffing can make a turkey moist, and Jill makes Tim a better person.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Just poetic.
Yes.
Just poetic. I this kind of works into my next one because I actually had Brad as stuffing.
Oh, man, I like that we're not having a lot of similarities. This is good.
No.
Okay.
No, just the turkey so far. Admittedly, Brad was the last one I came up with an idea for, and I just kind of threw stuffing in there. But now
I thought Brad was probably the first one. Well, second besides Tim. Yep.
Well, I might have just, I don't know, whatever. Here's why I think stuffing, and I just came up with this just a moment ago.
Okay.
Stuffing, it starts in the bird in a lot of ways. For some people. Some people do it separately. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, dummies.
But, starts in the bird, but at some point it needs to separate and be on its own.
Yeah.
And, Brad's growing up. He's becoming more mature.
Yep.
He's getting on his own. So that's definitely one way.
Yeah. Yes, it is one way. That is definitely one way. Yep.
Also, he's like all carbs. I just feel like Brad's all carbs, He's just full of bread, lots of carbs.
I can tell this was your last one.
This was definitely the weakest one.
Yeah.
The other thing I was trying to make up in my head, and it really didn't work, but I'll say it to you anyway. I was thinking that, Brad's been through a lot. He's got a lot of different sides to him, which is not true at all.
No, he's actually one of the more simple characters in the show.
Exactly. Yeah, so that didn't quite fit in with my stuffing metaphor. But yeah, Brad's the stuffing.
Okay.
And that's the way it is.
All right, here's my Brad. For me, Brad is mashed potatoes and gravy. Brad is sort of a meat and potatoes kind of guy. He's simple. He's stable. And he's, gravy, he's easygoing. He kind of rolls with the punches. Much like mashed potatoes and gravy, Brad is popular, and most people like Brad. Like, when you talk about Brad on the show, most people, people like Brad.
Fond memories of mashed potatoes and Brad.
Just like a good guy, stable. There are highs and lows with Brad, like there are highs and lows with mashed potatoes and gravy. But ultimately, it's
sometimes it's lumpy, sometimes it's smooth.
Ultimately, it's something most people can agree on, and that they like it. So for me, Brad is simple. He's mashed potatoes and gravy.
Jeez. I gotta say that was much better than mine.
Yeah, and shorter too. It turns out if you have a clear idea, it doesn't need to take as long. Meandering through.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna go with Randy next.
Okay.
And he's a green bean casserole, if you ask me. He's got some layers to him. They're all good layers, but he's kind of got the crunchy outside where I don't know how this is gonna work.
Yeah, what is? Yeah.
He's got layers.
Hardened exterior. Is that what you're saying?
Not hardened exterior, but he was tough with Bud Harper. He was tough as a journalist, so he's able to be crunchy there. But on the inside, especially with Lauren, he's soft like those green beans that have been cooked and mixed with the creamy mushroom soup and. He's just kind of a sweetheart. I think when everyone looks at green bean casserole, sometimes they just laugh because it's just got a little bit of humor to it, just like Randy, It's comic genius.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to criticize because I had a really tough time with Randy, which is why I settled on kind of an unconventional pick, and I don't know if you'll agree with this. For me, Randy, he's red wine.
Red wine.
He's sophisticated and he's classy. In some ways, he can be an acquired taste. He's a bit sarcastic. You got to get to know him to sort of be familiar with him, like a red wine. You got to really get familiar with it to enjoy it.
Take some time. Go for a few long walks.
Yeah, you gotta drink red wine a couple times before you really are on board. I think he's kind of academic. He's well traveled, much like red wine. I don't know. This one sucks. I had a really hard time.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Red wine. Do you have red wine at Thanksgiving dinner?
I probably had before. It's not something I need to have, but it's something that I could have.
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't come up with your brilliant green bean casserole metaphor. Yeah, stuffing. Whatever.
We're not all winners sometimes. Yeah. All right, let's move on to Mark then.
Yeah.
I really wonder what you have here.
Okay.
I did cranberry sauce.
So did I. Perfect. That's great. Yeah.
All right. Well, cranberry sauce in general, a little bit darker than most of the other the meal or the rest of the food around the meal. Tart, he's a little sour. He's a little Yeah, he's not great. Let's just say that. And this kind of colors, how I feel about cranberry sauce.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like it. I don't think Mark's that good, and I don't think cranberry sauce is that good.
I said cranberry sauce. It's divisive. Much like Mark. People have strong opinions. They love it. They hate it. Very few people are in the middle. It's an acquired taste, like Mark. I'm still working on acquiring it, but not something you're just going to step into and say, man, I sure do love this. Cranberry sauce, much like Mark, works better in kind of a medley as an accoutrement. You put it on something. It can't kind of stand alone. Mark doesn't. We don't really ever see Mark do stuff on his own, but when he does, he gets those standalone episodes, the glasses in particular, doesn't really work. And lastly, cranberry sauce, much like Mark, not really for me.
Wow, we both don't like cranberry sauce.
Yeah. So that's hilarious. Yeah,
it is. Who's the extra character that you did?
Al.
I did Al as well.
Okay.
Let's see what we got here. I bet you did a dessert. I didn't do a dessert in any of these, but this last one I did sweet mashed potatoes.
Okay.
Because a lot of things, like you said about Brad, I think are kind of true here. He's kind of a meat and potatoes type of dude to me. But you know what? He's a sweetheart. He seems to have a sensitive side, and that's where the sweet and the sweet mashed potatoes come in. And that's really the extent of it.
For Al, Al is pumpkin pie.
I knew
Simple, sweet, doughy, a little thick, reliable, consistent. And for the ladies, he's the perfect way to cap off a fine evening.
Add a little bit of Cool Whip, and you got
yourself
something good.
With Richard Kahn, you just add some Cool Whip, and that's living, baby.
20 minutes of just wonderful,
that was good.
wonderful time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't think we need to say anything more about that. If you have any problems with what we have to say,
get out of here.
Get out. No, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I would too.
All right. Episode 158, Jill's Passion. This one written by Marley and Elliot. The duo's back at it again. They last did Room at the Top, where Tim tried to build an office in the attic, and Jill got really mad at him. Yep. Aired November 11th, 1997. I've got 4 alternative titles. How many do you have?
4.
Okay. I'm going to lead off.
Okay.
I usually let you do it, so. My first one, Remodeling a Relationship.
That's good. I watched this episode a while ago, so these are not good, but they're there. Give me the Tool Man tune-up.
I have a tune-up one as well.
Okay.
So I'll say that one. Marriage tune-up.
Yeah, good. Let's go with Gym Rat.
I don't know if I find that to be true, but sure. All right. I have an exercising one as well. Exercising Jill's imagination.
I want to know why you don't think Gym Rat is apt. Should we get into it later? Save it for later?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, maybe we can talk about it later.
Sweet Dream or A Beautiful Nightmare?
This is my favorite one, my last one.
Okay.
Out with the old, in with the vroom.
Vroom, vroom. This is not a good one, and not really anything. Farticus. I don't know. Like, he likes Spartacus. Tim is sort of, I don't know, just lazy. Husband, too comfortable. Farticus. Yeah.
Farticus. All right. We're going to open on Tool Time on location. They're going to remodel a garage.
Oh, hey, should we do an NC-17 rating for this one? Because it gets a little steamy.
It does get a little steamy. I don't know. Maybe we rate it. Is there X? Is that one of them as well? They rate things X?
I don't know if they still do, but we can. Let's go really blue for this one. Yeah, really leave it all on the table.
All right. Well, we're going to remodel the garage. There's stuff everywhere. It's Wilson's, and he's a bit of a hoarder, I would say. That's what we see in this garage. And he won't let go of anything as well. So the reason they're trying to remodel the garage is they're going to fit in that classic Studebaker that was Wilson's father. We saw that in the last episode when Willow came around. Wilson everything has like a story for Wilson. It's either, has a past that he got it for, or he has had an interaction with it. Everything has a reason to be kept. So he's really struggling to get rid of it with some of the stuff. Tim tries to start with something small, but that doesn't work out either. And they kind of just move on from that scene after really struggling with Wilson here. And later on the show, they did it somehow because they're installing some cabinets and it looks clean. The Studebaker's in there. They have like a whole wall of tubs. There's probably like 35 storage tubs in there with nothing in them,
Yeah.
which was a bit confusing for me. And where'd all the stuff go, you're wondering? Well, it's in the yard.
Yeah, it's a couple things I would say. Leaning into Wilson more lately on the show.
Yeah.
I guess it's a good choice. I don't know if you've exhausted all the stuff with the family. Good to get away. Doesn't it's a little bit unique for the show to. It's a weird introductory segment because it's like two scenes. They do like a later, which is sort of I think strange for an opener. I'm not sure they needed to do the later. I feel like this could have been condensed. The later didn't really give you a lot. And then one of the items that Wilson picks up or Tim picks up wants to get rid of is a boxing glove. Wilson boxed Sonny Liston, the champ. So.
He looks like he's got some good form. Him and Al do some boxing.
A little sparring. I wish they would have really done it, take some shots at each other. Two kind of supplementary HI characters going at it.
Who is more important to the show? I mean, I would say right now Wilson seems to be more important because Al hasn't had like a story in 2 seasons.
Yeah, if they're actually boxing though, give me Al, right?
I mean, Wilson might have a pretty long reach. He's a tall dude.
It's true. It'd be close. But Al was in the Navy.
Yeah, maybe we should build a simulator.
Yeah, we should. All right.
I bet you Wilson picked up some interesting fighting tactics from all of his travels, though.
I bet Wilson fights dirty, but his conscience is clean.
This sounds like a poll.
Does Wilson fight dirty? Wilson will throw sand in your eyes. I was fighting the sheik.
All right, that's the end of that scene, and that's the end of boxing talk. We move on, and we're at the Y, and I'll let you talk a little bit more about what's going on here.
Oh, wow. All right. I mean...
Talk about the gym rat.
I'm getting out of breath just thinking about it. Yikes!
It's steamy.
Using the YMCA set again. Jill's working out. I think she's doing like an elliptical Stairmaster kind of thing next to this friggin' hunk. I mean, this guy is a piece of meat if I've ever seen one. We'll get into his bio at the end of the scene, but his name is Ian, and dude can get it. I'll tell you that much. His name in real life is Tom Wopat. I'm just gonna start calling him Traps Wopat with the way those suckers look. I mean, good lord. They're there. I think I can't exactly remember if does he kind of make conversation with her before Tim comes or no?
Yeah, Jill is struggling to change the weight settings on her machine, and he comes out to help. She's not in the Stairmaster yet. Okay. I think that's when
maybe that's a dream.
That's later on.
That's a sweet dream. Yeah, so she's working out. They're making a little bit of small talk. He's a nice guy, but there's not much.
It's harmless.
It's harmless. There's not much. Tim comes in with the boys. Tim is, I don't know if you noticed, there's a couple of shots where Tim is wearing the YMCA tank top right in front of the YMCA logo on the wall, and it's kind of like wearing the band's t-shirt to the concert, sort of. It's like, man, really a way to look uncool at the gym, wearing the official gym t-shirt.
That's remember when we were sponsored by Anytime Fitness?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, every time we go to Anytime Fitness, we always have to wear that, right?
Super lame. I noticed that Jill was wearing workout gloves, which was just kind of funny.
It was funny.
She
doesn't want to hurt her
calloused hands or something. Just kind of funny. The costume designer maybe getting a little too intrusive. Tim talks. It's a pretty regular Tim and Jill conversation. I don't know. He's complaining about having to meet someone. I can't exactly remember.
Family reunion. Yeah, you watched this a while ago,
I
so
did.
I can fill in some of the
please
blanks
do.
for you.
Family reunion. He's complaining. I don't know. It's just like a regular kind of conversation. It's not especially intimate, which will come up later. But Tim's just passing through. Jill's working out. It's a regular conversation.
There's a couple other things that happen that kind of color the conversation. Like Patty got some opera tickets. Tim talks about how much he hates the opera. Yep. Tim has a meeting with the car part guy and is interested in that, and we're going to see that a few times later in this episode as well. So they're just not on the same page. No. They have other things they're doing. They're kind of passing ships in the night.
Yeah, but it's also indicative of just sort of how they are. Like Tim's going to complain about opera.
Right.
They just it's just a regular conversation for them. Tim leaves, and then Ian, Beefcake, he overhears that they were talking about the opera. Well, he loves the opera. This is a dream guy. He loves the opera. He's got...
Much like you.
No,
Dream guy, not
I
opera
was going to
lover.
say no opinion on the opera dream guy. Well, hey, it depends on who you ask. Maybe for you. He has 4 daughters. He can French braid a hair. He's really, really in touch
All
with his
right,
emotions.
so now you're starting to...
I'm jumping into the other scene.
Yeah, so this is probably why you came up with Gym Rat. None of that happens. The only thing that happens here is that he loves the opera.
Yeah,
He talks
and they
about
sing.
Carmen, and they start swapping stories, and then they start singing. And then Ian says, "Do you like La Boheme? Because they're coming to town. I'd love to take you."
Yeah, okay. And then Jill is like put off by it, and she's like kind of embarrassed, and not put off, but she's just like, "Ooh, wow, this is crazy."
Flustered.
And Ian says that he thought that Tim and Jill were brothers, and yeah, you know, I think that's pretty presumptuous based on what he saw. You know, like I don't really. I mean, I believe.
I don't know that you could come to any conclusion, really, whether somebody was a brother or a husband based on that conversation, but that's what he does.
I feel like you would assume. I don't know why you wouldn't assume that they're husband and wife, just because of like the tone of the conversation and stuff. Like, I felt like that was just like kind of strange. Like, why would a 40 something brother and sister be just like talking in the gym? Like, what? The assumption would generally always be that they were married. They don't like look alike or anything, and they weren't like, I don't know. I thought that was just kind of presumptuous, and I think indicative of a rat. Jordan, he's a rat.
You were talking about like the gloves earlier. Mm-hmm. They really play an important role in this scene because they cover up the wedding ring. And that's,
you know what? Okay, that's interesting. All right, okay.
That's the problem for Ian because she even holds up her hand and says like, "Oh, I'm married," and then she's like, "Oh crap, I have a glove on." So maybe that's like the only thing to put in his column.
Okay,
but yeah, I would assume they were husband and wife. But
yeah,
you know, I'm not a beefcake like Ian.
I think Ian's trolling for ladies. I don't know.
We don't really know anything about Ian after this scene, so
I don't trust him. Tell you that much.
It's hard to know, but. Do you want to talk about who Ian is in real life?
Yeah, Ian's played by Tom Wopat. He's from Lodi, Wisconsin, which is not too far from me.
Wow.
A little older than my father. I didn't know who this guy was until like 20 minutes ago. So 49 credits to his name. He played Luke Duke on the Dukes of Hazzard TV show.
Hey,
I've
Hazzard Boys.
Never watched an episode of Dukes of Hazzard. I've only seen the movie with like Jessica Simpson. So yeah, I don't know much about this guy. He's also in Django Unchained, Jonah Hex, Sybil, and he's still active. He was in Longmire from 2012 to 2017, and Madam Secretary in 2019. Yeah, do you watch much Dukes of Hazzard?
I didn't watch really any Dukes of Hazzard, but I did know him a little bit because the show Smallville that I watched in my youth. That one of the father in that show was the other. Hazard Boy, John Schneider.
Those Hazard Boys.
Yeah, and so they kind of make some allusions to that, and then there also is an episode where Tom Wopat comes on.
Of course.
And they do like a little reunion type thing on Smallville, of course. So that's about my extent of the knowledge of the Dukes of Hazzard.
Smallville sucks. I don't know why.
It's not great.
I don't know why. You guys all. I know there was a group of you guys at Michigan State that loved watching Smallville, and I only watched about 5 minutes. It's terrible. What do you like about it?
It's not great. But you know who else was on that show?
JTT.
Yeah. So be careful what you say.
Who does he play?
He plays like a villain at some point.
Is he bad?
Oh, he's so bad.
He's so bad. I bet he, much like you, is very wry and sarcastic. I bet he's kind of a Dennis Miller type, babe.
Oh yeah, definitely, babe.
Yeah, I gotta say though, Tom Wopat, he's like 46 in this in real life when this episode's filmed, and I'm making a lot of jokes about being a beefcake, but he is in good shape. He
does look good.
He's got a beard. He's kind of the dream guy, for Jill at least. And she's undeniably smitten. So.
Ooh, yeah. Someone comes out as well. This is my favorite part of the scene is like when they're done singing.
Oh, it's stupid.
Everyone in the gym they stopped in awe and start clapping when they're all done. And then at the end of the scene, someone comes out and says, "You two are wonderful. If my husband could sing that way, we'd still be together." So assumptions are being made by everyone here.
If that happened at my gym, it's kind of flash mob bullshit. I'm switching gyms.
You'd cancel immediately.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that's you talked about steamy.
Yeah, I'm having trouble seeing my computer screen right now.
I'm sweating right now.
Up, yeah.
I feel like I'm in a sauna.
Yeah.
Good thing they didn't meet in the sauna.
Oh, I wish they would.
Back at home, the boys come in. This is a little strange, but Mark got a boar. Brad got like
He's gonna slaughter that. He's gonna
shield.
slaughter that boar as a sacrificial, right? For Sam Hain.
Brad got some stuff from the Ren Fair. Randy got some nose flutes, and they got all this stuff from the yard sale at Wilson's. Wilson's kind of just giving all the stuff away, and that's really the extent of their involvement in this episode. And Tim comes down. We mentioned last scene about, he really wants to get this nice car radio from a guy named Pee-wee. And he's asking Jill, where's a nice restaurant to, a quiet restaurant where we can talk? I mean, I think you and I both know where to go, and it's at Sorrentino's. Yeah. Jill thinks this is going to be a dinner date for her and Tim, and it turns out he wants to take Pee-wee there to kind of woo him into getting a good deal on the radio. Jill wants to talk, and she shares everything that happened at the gym. Tim, is not taking it very seriously, and Jill tries to turn it back to say, you've been out of tune lately, and everything has kind of been going through the motions. Tim kind of disagrees and gives a metaphor that says, we're comfortable. We're like an old pair of shoes, and Jill is not as smitten with the metaphor as she is with Ian.
No, you're right. You're right. They act like there's more than one restaurant in Detroit. There's only one restaurant, as far as I can tell, it's Sorrentino's.
What about Big Mike's?
Bar/restaurant. Sure, yeah, you could take Pee-wee there, but you gotta woo Pee-wee.
Yeah. If you take him to Big Mike's, you gotta buy him like 3 Stinkies, and then you have to lose at pool.
I don't know if I wasn't paying enough attention, but so the Pee-wee situation is like, who is Pee-wee?
Pee-wee has this sweet car radio that he wants to get installed, I think in the Studebaker, maybe?
So is Pee-wee like he owns like a shop or something?
Yeah, he must own a shop of sorts, and Tim's trying to get a good deal. And Pee-wee is he's driving a hard bargain.
Okay, I guess I did understand it, and it's just dumb.
It is dumb. Yeah, it's not sophisticated. So, all
right. So, next scene, back at the gym.
You thought this last one was steamy.
Man, I don't even. This is I don't know when to mention this, but like I remember this episode being on air, and I remember the promos that ABC was running was like Jill and this guy right before they are about to kiss, and it's like on this week's Home Improvement, Jill makes a decision or something, and it was like really it was like modern clickbait sort of. It's like, hey, wow, can you believe that Jill's gonna have an affair in this episode? Crazy. But I do remember that. Back at the gym. Working out. I think she is on the Stairmaster now. You're gonna tell me if I'm wrong.
You're right.
And the beefcake is back. This is where we learn that his wife passed away. This is weird. I'll save it for the end. Okay. His daughter. He has 4 daughters. Wife passed away. He's just really in most ways the anti-Tim. He's very in touch with his emotions. He's good with girls. He likes opera. He's sensitive. His tastes very much align with Jill's. He says he's attracted to Jill, and.
Jill is flustered.
Jill's flustered. There's this part in this episode where she goes like all the way down the Stairmaster. It's kind of funny. Jill says that she would. He asks if Jill's attracted to him, and Jill like doesn't really know how to answer. There's kind of
she does say that under different circumstances she would say yes,
which is naughty.
Which is naughty.
Everybody the gym is sort of vacated. The lights start to go out. And it's just the two of them standing in this very, very small YMCA. No one's leaving. They're just kind of stuck in place, smitten. They stare into each other's eyes. And Jordan, they kiss.
Wow.
And this is the finale of Home Improvement. Roll credits, fade to black. No.
I did not know. I did not remember this episode.
Okay.
I did not know what was about to happen next. So this left me a little bit in awe for about 3 seconds. That's how much they let me sit in that awe.
And then it's just a dream. She wakes up. So
yeah.
It was all a dream. It was all a dream. This is what Biggie was talking about.
Yeah.
One thing I just was thinking as we were talking about, the backstory that she fills in this dream is kind of strange, right? Like like in her dream, she constructs a backstory for this guy where his wife died. Like that's just kind of weird. She didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's so weird.
Yeah, I wonder.
Is that like a way of coping with guilt or something? I don't know.
I think it's a way of saying that he's
a great guy,
someone who would be committed.
Okay. All right, so
Maybe.
in
I
her
don't know.
dream scenario where she is with another man, his wife has
Somebody
to die.
has to die.
Yeah, I mean, jeez. Yeah, sort of dark. But yeah, it is a dream. Yeah, I knew it was a dream, but it would be crazy if it wasn't.
Oh, man. Yeah. Again, I wish they would have let me sit in it longer.
It could have been cooler if they cut to commercial and you don't know.
And maybe they did real time. I don't know.
No, they didn't.
I guess they didn't do the black, like the fade to black or whatever. But I wish there was like a scene in between or something.
Yeah.
But I guess it would have been hard to maybe explain that as much. I don't know. Whatever. So Jill is startled, awakened by such a saucy dream. She can't sleep any longer and kind of rudely flips on the light to read as Tim is trying to sleep.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She's mad at Tim in this episode.
But she's not going to really tell him about it until right now.
No.
Until this dream snaps her awake. So it wakes up Tim. He says he has to get up early in the morning to go pheasant hunting with Pee-wee because Pee-wee loves to go pheasant hunting. Mm-hmm. And Tim even hates hunting, he says. But Tim's trick to fall asleep. Turn out the lights, close your eyes, and think about something you really want.
Oh, and hey, we know that is Ian. Weird that Tim wouldn't be into hunting. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess I can see it both ways.
No opinion. I just feel like a guy like Tim in the 90s would have been really into hunting. I don't know. I mean, hey, deer hunting's big, Jordan.
We both know that.
Deer hunting's big in Michigan.
Are you a big hunter?
No, I couldn't.
I know the answer to this question.
I couldn't do that. I'm too sensitive for that.
Yeah.
Are you? It'd be funny if you were. Yeah. Duck. Exclusively duck.
No, but I did see. I keep seeing deer in our backyard. So if I were into hunting, boy, they'd be in trouble.
I just think it's cruel, but that's a whole nother thing. All right, home, bedroom. Tim gets home. Is it the next night? Are we to assume a day has passed?
I think you might have skipped a scene here.
Oh, of course. I shouldn't watch these so far in advance. It does make it harder. All right, inside. Jill is hanging out in the kitchen with Patty, talking very openly about her dream. Like, the kids could walk in at any point, and she's just kind of sharing the dream. Patty is into it.
She's eating it up. It's like a bad romance novel or something.
Yeah, it's like a paperback your grandma would read. Jill's concerned. Patty says she shouldn't be. That's really all I got.
Yeah, Patty's like, are you going to do something about it? And Jill's like, no.
No.
And Patty...
Yes.
And then the music plays. All right. But Patty says, it's just a dream. Like, you can't really control that, and you're not going to act on these feelings, and so stop thinking about it. And then she says, I can't remember who posits this question, but somebody says, what's wrong with being comfortable?
Yeah.
And Jill at first says, no, it's actually good, and then she realizes she's actually annoyed by how comfortable they are, because it's becoming very routine, and there's a lack of heat and fire and emotion.
Yeah.
And that's what she's struggling with.
Yeah.
Later that night in the bedroom, this is what you were talking about earlier, Tim comes home from dinner with Pee-wee. He's pretty upset because he got led on by Pee-wee. Pee-wee apparently does this to, like, many suitors.
Pee-wee's a tease.
And he's a tease. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Jill is being very understanding with Tim, and she even rented a special video for them to watch together. I was wondering if it was going to be porn.
I thought so too. I know. I mean, I knew it couldn't be, but like it does sort of have that vibe for a second.
It really, really does. Instead, it's Spartacus. In the writer's room, they were talking about what film should be there.
Yeah, for sure.
And that came up. Yeah. But it's Spartacus, and Jill's going to give it another chance. It's one of Tim's favorite films, Spartacus, Farticus. She's giving it a chance, and Tim sees...
Tim's pretty sharp here.
Yeah, pretty much. And Tim is kind of talking a little bit about Ian, because Jill kind of puts this back to Ian, and he says, like, is this because of Ian? He says, this is a con man, and you totally agree with that, as we had in the first scene. Maybe colored a little bit by the dream. I think that kind of sullies it a little bit more than what we actually get.
This episode of Home Improvement's like Inception. There are just like so many sub-layers. It's hard to know what's real and what's not.
It's much like the green bean casserole,
Hardened, crunchy exterior.
Soft, gooey interior. All right. Jill says, I'm not going to leave you, but I don't want to feel like brother and sister. She asks an interesting question here. She says, are you totally satisfied with the way we are? And he says, no. And she wonders what would you change, and Tim says, I wish we had a sex life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the kids and what we're doing. Seems like there's no time for that. And I don't know who posits this tune-up dinner at Sorrentino's.
Yeah.
But they decided to do that. They're going to try to re-inject some excitement into the marriage. Tim says, what would you want? And she wants to talk more.
Yeah.
Tim kind of just to be more in tune with her feelings, which we got like in the first season. So is this full circle? I don't know.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. Hold her when she's feeling down. So we've got an action plan here to spice things up and get closer. So I guess that's good.
Yeah, and then they talk. And they talk, and they talk, and they talk. They're in bed, Jordan. They're talking all night.
Till the sun comes up.
It cuts a couple of times. He's massaging her feet. They're reflecting on the past 18 years. It's kind of all the same, but we do get a lot of cuts to show that the time is passing. They can't remember the last time they stayed up all night. And then as the sun comes up, something else rises, and Jill kind of straddles Tim, and it's that intimacy that he's long been seeking. It's kind of graphic, I thought.
Between that and the gym scene this episode, my goodness.
Yeah, it is it's the hottest. Well, is this hotter than Ion Tim? That's pretty, think about that pool scene in Ion Tim.
That's pretty rough.
That's pretty overt. But Jordan, we get a pretty good blooper here.
This is good.
It's good. I'm gonna let you take it.
All right, so they have a blooper. I think it's like immediately after what's happening here, and Ian comes out from the bathroom and asks, "What does he ask for?" I forget.
I think he asks do you have any? I don't know if it's Purell, but do you have any shaving cream or something?
Yeah, and he's got his shirt off.
Yeah, you can tell that PR didn't know it was coming, and everybody just kind of loses it. And Tim jumps up and pretends like he's gonna fight him. Hey Tim, word of advice: don't fight that guy.
Don't mess with the Duke.
You will lose. But no, it was fun. You could tell everybody was kind of just having fun behind the scenes and surprised and stuff. So I liked it.
When you get a character like that on the show, you gotta have fun.
Well, this guy's coming back.
Is he really?
Yeah. Next year.
I can't wait.
Yeah. It's going to be good, yeah. And that's real credits fade to black. Jill's passion. Jordan Castle's corner. Give me your highs, give me your lows, give me your in-betweens.
So, it's an interesting episode. Obviously not a lot for the boys to do in this episode.
You mean you didn't like it when they took Wilson's trash?
Took his trash. Yeah. Mark sacrificed a boar on an altar. Yeah, that wasn't ideal. But, I think it's interesting enough with just those two and working on the relationship. It's something that would definitely happen in a marriage, you get too comfortable, you kind of get into the routine of things, and some things fall by the wayside. So I found it very believable. The tool time stuff is fine. There's not a lot of it, not a lot going on. It's still not a lot of Al, which is kind of strange to me. I don't know necessarily what they would do with him, but I know we will get some more Al-centric episodes coming up. But it's been a while, so it feels like he's not even really part of the show right now, so it's a little weird. Ian, Tom Wopat, good in this episode. I think, he plays a very convincing guy, suitor at the gym. He looks good. The side story with Pee-wee is a little strange, but also just, I don't know. It's silly enough that it doesn't really bother me. So I like this episode overall. I'm trying to think of a low, something I just hated. I don't know. I guess it's kind of a slow episode since there's really only one thing going on, one central plot, but it's entertaining enough for me. So, and like I said, I didn't remember this episode, so the part where it goes, Jill is kissing Ian, that had me on my edge for about 3 seconds.
Yeah,
so
I bet it did.
What do you think?
I'm having trouble distilling how I feel.
Okay, much like Jill.
Indeed, yeah. Should we stay up all night and talk about it?
I think we might.
I'm just gonna talk my way through it, and then we'll see where I land at the end. Highs, I like Ian. I think that is an interesting thing to do. They haven't done it before. We saw her flirt with the cop, but that was kind of a different thing. She's attracted to this guy, so it's kind of a new dynamic. So I like that. I like the dreams. I think dream stuff is usually a little bit cheap, but they can't have her kissing a guy. They can't actually have that. So
that's a whole different show.
That's a different show. Yeah, they would never do that. And I like that. And I think if you were watching live in the moment, you might have been duped by that. So, good on them for doing that. Other things I liked, the scene of them staying up all night is fine. It's kind of neither here nor there. I guess it's a necessary end to the episode. They didn't, they gave it its due diligence. They didn't take any shortcuts, so I guess I appreciate that. The tool time scene is kind of whatever. I feel like everything that's not directly related to the gym scenes is kind of just sort of silly. Like the Pee Wee Tim stuff is dumb. Like I don't really even understand that. They sort of try to make
It's because you're not a car guy.
I'm not a radio guy. Hate radios. They briefly try to make it to draw parallels between like Tim wooing Pee Wee and Tim wooing Jill, but like they don't really commit to that. It's just kind of dumb. Wilson's like garage is okay, but we don't get back to that at the end. I don't know. The opening scene is just sort of whatever. I agree with you on Al. They don't seem to have any interest in doing anything with Al right now, which is unfortunate. Kids don't have much to do. I guess to me, it's a slightly better than average episode. I liked the central sort of conflict, but I agree with what you said. Not a lot goes on. It's maybe a little bit boring, but yeah, I enjoyed it enough.
If Ian wasn't cast perfectly, you would have been out on this episode.
I think that's fair. Like if those two scenes don't hit as hard, it's not great for me. But those Duke boys at it again.
Hey, too bad John Schneider didn't show up as well.
Always too bad, but he lives on through his great Smallville performance. Smallville, our favorite show.
Tom Welling.
Yeah.
Talk about a beefcake.
Cheaper by the dozen, right?
He was born in Okemos, Michigan. You know that?
Yeah, I didn't obviously know that because I don't like that show and am not a fan of his. But nope, didn't know.
It's funny how much I watched that show, and then in like the last 3 seasons, I was just out. So that's how that goes.
What's your favorite show?
No.
For you, is it better? I'm surprised he wasn't on your TV Mount Rushmore we did a while back. The guy that plays Lex Luthor. Yeah.
Oh, who is
that?
Who
cares? Let's just keep going.
Yeah, you're right. All right, social media time. You convinced me very easily on that one.
Who cares? Yeah, you're right.
Thanks for reining me in on that one. Thanks for reining me in. If you'd like to reach out to us, go to thehomanpodcast.com, Facebook and Twitter at homanpodcast. Go to patreon.com/homanpodcast to get special bonus episodes, including Adam's favorite movie of all time, For Richer or Poorer, and this year, coming up soon, a Goofy movie where we will sing every song to you and much more.
Don't promise that. That'll keep people away.
That's true. So if you want to do that, patreon.com/homanpodcast, just $1 a month. That's all.
Big Trouble's worse than For Richer or Poorer.
Big Trouble was really bad.
Yeah, but
really bad.
Yeah.
Also, leave us a review if you haven't yet. Go to whatever podcasting app that you listen on and give us the good old 5 stars. It helps other people find us. We'll read your review on air. And just thank you in general for listening. We appreciate the support.
Yes,
Adam?
Good to give thanks as Thanksgiving
is over.
Twitter.
Every day is a reason to give thanks. But, Adam, I'd like to talk about Twitter now.
Poll. Apropos of nothing, which fast food fries do you most prefer? 20 total votes. 15% said Wendy's. 20% said Burger King. 30% McDonald's. 35% said Five Guys.
I say, why choose?
Is it better to be hated or what is it? What is it better to be?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh man, I wish I could remember it. Is it? I don't know if it's from like Batman or something. He's like, is it better to be feared or respected? I say, why not both?
Well, I thought that was The Office.
Oh,
would I rather be loved or?
No, it's something different. But I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
For me, yeah, Five Guys is a good answer. Five Guys or McDonald's. I think Wendy's are better than Burger King though. I don't even know what what are Burger King fries even?
It seems like they change them a lot. My problem with Burger King and Wendy's is the consistency. Like, sometimes you'll get really good fries, and sometimes you'll get, like, just gross, like, I don't know, not moldy, I'm sorry.
Man, that is a problem for me as well.
That is a big problem for me. Just, like, soggy fries.
No, do you still exclusively call them Freedom Fries?
I do not.
Oh, okay, just checking. I remember for a while you were doing that.
Yeah, and I was really getting on other people.
You nationalist, you.
I just stopped at like a drive-through window for like a good year before they almost arrested me, and I was just yelling at people through their window as they ordered French fries.
Jordan, we got a couple of questions here, so you better rip open the mailbag.
You've got mail.
All right, first question comes from Griffin Holloway at Grifster04. Have either of you guys attended a Lions Thanksgiving? Let me try that again. Have either of you guys attended a Lions Thanksgiving Day game? Go ahead, Jordan.
I think I did once.
Really? Wow. All right.
I really only remember one Lions game when I was much younger, with my grandpa and my dad and maybe one of my brothers. And I feel like if it wasn't Thanksgiving, I felt like it was around a holiday. But yeah, I really only remember one. I have no idea what happened at that game, but I think it was around Thanksgiving. What about you? I'm sorry, I don't have a much more recollection than that. You did not prepare me. I could have asked somebody.
Maybe you have. I have not. I definitely have not. It's one of those things where my dad has always talked about it like it would be like a dream for him to do that. So I guess we probably should.
It's not just that. It's not like an unattainable dream. No, it's not. It's just like a matter of. It's sort of a hard sell on a family, I would say. Yeah.
Like we usually eat at halftime or thereabouts. So it would just kind of lead to a restructuring of the entire day.
Whoa.
Which would be it is sort of a tough sell, actually. So no, I haven't done it. I would like to, I think for him, it's not as important to me, but I think it would be an experience, get down there, tailgate, have some fun. But I also, NFL games are not better live, to be honest. I like lounging on Thanksgiving, eating, having a nice sort of relaxing day. So on one hand, it would be nice to do that, but on the other hand, I really just like laying around. And the Lions suck so bad.
Yeah, that was the biggest part. It's probably going to be a crappy game when you go.
It's just like, do I really want to like drive 3 hours, go to a game, get tired, get depressed, drive home? Like, I don't know. But yeah, it is something I would like to do eventually. But in short, I haven't done it. Tickets are harder to get, but not impossible. So, all right. So, Jordan, hopefully you can be a little bit more concrete on this one.
We'll see.
At Dr. Headley, Brett Hetherington. Aside from Wilson's eel pie, what is the one Thanksgiving... I think there's a typo here. One Thanksgiving, it says good, you cannot go without, but I'm going to say probably one Thanksgiving dish you cannot go without. So what's...
Or food.
Food probably is, probably right. Yeah.
Trying to think of...
I'll go since I have an answer.
Yeah, go ahead.
For me, it kind of changes as I get older, but for me, of late, it's been stuffing.
Go ahead.
Jordan, this is my time.
Sorry, I'm excited.
Wow. I don't know. I just feel like stuffing is something that you really only get on Thanksgiving, and I think it really ties the meal together. Like turkey, I like. I'm not an anti-turkey person. We talked about that.
Yeah,
mashed potatoes too, but you can get those other times. Stuffing for me is really indicative and sort of a hallmark of Thanksgiving. And I like everybody's stuffing's a little bit different. I like it crispy. Keep the crunch out of there. I don't want your celery in my stuffing, okay? Okay, babe? But no, I think for me it's stuffing. It's just, of late, it's really been something that I've just become close to.
Yeah. You guys are kind of affectionate toward each other. Yeah. And it's really
it's
tough.
Adam's passion.
Yeah. It certainly is. The funny thing about stuffing, I did not really eat it very much growing up. I just kind of stayed away from it. It just looked a little strange to me. So I never really tried it until the last few years, and I find out I really like it. So now it's like a staple. Like Andrea yesterday asked me, what dish are you excited about for Thanksgiving? And I said stuffing, and much for the same reason I shared here. So stuffing's exciting. I'm mashed potatoed out, to be honest.
Wow. You're going there? You're going there right now?
I'm going there. I would much rather have mashed sweet potatoes than mashed potatoes. So
I like. You know what I've been liking more as I get older? Squash.
Ooh, I love squash.
Yeah,
I love it. Love it. Grand Traverse Pie Company has a really good stuffing pot pie, which you can only get around Thanksgiving. That's kind of amazing. And another staple that really only comes around a lot in the fall is pumpkin-based things. So I really like Pumpkin pie, of course, but
Yeah.
my family makes pumpkin squares, which is a little bit,
Like lemon squares.
yeah, but yeah, obviously with the pumpkin, and it's very, very good.
No,
It's
like
a little
lemon
bit more
squares, but with lemon. That's what it's like. Not with pumpkin.
no,
Okay.
it's like a little bit more sugary than pie and sweeter. So
What
there's brown
do you
sugar on the
make? Do you
top.
make anything?
I make cornbread. My grandma's recipe of cornbread. I'm probably gonna make pumpkin squares this year. Sometimes I'll help with the green bean casserole and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I told you I'm not interested in mashed potatoes, so don't even try me.
I won't.
Don't try to get me to do your mashed potatoes.
I make a
ain't gonna
pumpkin
do it.
pie every year. It's kind of my thing. Yep.
All right.
Yeah. So
Well, I'd love to taste it one year.
it's the best pie in town. What do we cover next week, Jordan?
Next week, somebody, and I think we know who, is going to be losing my religion.
You're gonna say, somebody stop me.
Somebody stop me.
Smoking. All right. Well,
It should be interesting.
yeah, it'll be a pleasure. We're getting pretty close to the Thanksgiving episode on Home Improvement and the Christmas episode and Cranksmas, and for you Patreon listeners, Goofy Movie. So a lot to look forward to as the holiday season nears. Jordan, thank you for joining me. Listeners, thank you for listening. Happy belated Thanksgiving and take care.
Take care, everybody.